Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the Elk Grove Township September 28th, 2020 Board Meeting to order and ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Present.
Trustee Narodowski,
Present.
Trustee Ingraffia,
Present.
and Trustee Keenly,
Present.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Present.
There we go.
Okay. Item C, public comment. You want to use the microphone so we could all hear you, please?
Please organize the board meeting material on the Elk Grove Township website. Use other taxing bodies as a reference/model, and also ask Harper Community College Computer Science Department about it.
Thank you very much.
And also, would it make more sense to have the bike safety program go to the schools rather than having the students miss class and change the bus schedule to bring students here?
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Get the first one.
Any other public comment from the webinar? All right, just want to give, is anybody else on the webinar? All right, I just want to give one last chance. Anybody that's participating from the public remotely, if you want to give us a wave, that way we can select you to participate. Okay. All right, it doesn't appear that anybody that's participating remotely from the public wishes to speak. We'll move on to item D, the bid opening for the North Side project that includes bicycle safety and the challenge course and underground storage tanks. The township received 2 sealed bids, both today, one at 3:15 p.m. and one at 3:50 p.m. I'll open them up in the order in which they were received. Copenhagen Construction is the first bidder. Again, we received their bid today, September 28th, 2020, at 3:15 p.m. Okay, the base bid, again from Copenhagen Construction, Inc., is $1,017,672 even. Okay, the next bid was received again today, September 28th, 2020, at 3:50 p.m. from Integral Construction, Inc. All right, okay, the base bid from Integral Construction is $973,200 even. Okay.
Mike, what was the amount of the first bid again for
The
Copenhagen?
first- Okay, I'll repeat those. Okay, excuse me one second. Nope. Excuse me, just allergies, just so everyone knows. Copenhagen Construction, base bid of $1,017,672. And then Integral Construction with a base bid of $973,200.
Thank you.
Okay, we will send these bid documents to our architect and our attorney for review to ensure that they are qualified bids. And then we will schedule a board meeting after that, a special board meeting, after the attorney and architect have an opportunity to present their findings. We'll schedule a board meeting, discuss those, and determine which bids are qualified and discuss those, and ultimately decide one way or another whether to move forward with these bids in the project or to move in a different direction. Any questions about the bids on this project or the bid opening or the process moving forward? Okay. All right, we'll be in touch very soon. All right, item E, the consent agenda. Are there any items on the consent agenda any board members would like to have removed? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. I will make that motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
A second.
Second.
Seconded by Trustee Keenley. Any further discussion?
Can I just ask one question
Sure.
on the Elk Grove Township food pantry statistics? It said there was 205 volunteer hours logged in August. Is that right? All the other months, it was about 10 hours.
I saw that too.
Say that again?
On the Elk Grove Township food pantry statistics, it says was 205 volunteer hours logged in August. Is that correct?
I would assume it is correct. That's when we opened to full, we opened that
Oh,
month into
okay, that
full
makes
service.
sense.
And so
Okay.
I can tell you, yeah, sometimes we'll have 4 or 5 volunteers on any given shift at a given time now, instead of 1 or 2 a couple times a week.
Okay,
So,
thank
yeah,
you.
Yep, thank you, good question. Okay, any other questions about the consent agenda? Okay, there is a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Aye.
trustee Narodowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenley,
Aye.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Okay, item F, discussion and potential action on the minutes from August 24th, the regular board meeting. Any questions or proposed changes to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the August 24th, 2020 regular board meeting minutes as presented?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Ingraffia,
Second.
Second.
seconded by trustee Keenley.
That was Narodowski.
I'm sorry, Nuredowski, I apologize. Trustee Nuredowski seconded that motion. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right, moving down into presentations. We have Michael Isha's joining us remotely to discuss from Alliant Insurance Services to discuss the 2021 property and liability insurance proposal. So, Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. Would you like video or no video?
Yes, please, video, yes.
All right. Okay.
All right, Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and trustees. Thank you for your time this evening. I have some actually really good news on your insurance renewal this year. We started very early this year knowing that there is going to be some issues with renewals as it relates to property and liabilities, even more so for municipalities. Also, what's getting hit hard this year is the umbrella and excess umbrella lines of coverage. This year, we started in July. I worked very closely with Elk Grove Township staff into preparing their submission out to the marketplace well in advance. The thought was to get well ahead of the elections this year. We saw around the end of May last year with this, or this past year, civil disturbances that wreaked havoc on the property market, knowing that the best thing we could do is try to get every renewal, all our December and January renewals done in September as well as October to avoid that and any potential premium increase that the national elections or any fallout from the results that might affect the insurance market, and they will absolutely affect the insurance market coming up. So we got done early. Some big changes for you guys this year with regards to your decrease is the removal of 2400 South Arlington Heights Road. That saved the township $6,953 this year. Also, the Illinois County's Risk Management Trust this year is providing a one-time renewal credit in the amount of $3,799. That credit, they have some excess surplus that they want to give back to their members. Also good claim results, so they're very happy to do that. And it's helped tremendously a number of insureds this year, especially with municipalities with decreased tax base. So we're pretty happy that they, once again have become a great partner and put some money back into the members' hands. So your property and casualty insurance renewal is decreasing 18.34%. We were estimating increases for you, even with no losses. You had some property losses, but probably between 10 and 20%. So with the removal of 2400 South Arlington, that helped, as well as the almost $3,800 in credit helped you tremendously as well. The other maneuvering we did is with regards to workers' compensation. We removed one of your class codes, the 5506 street maintenance. We did that last week in a discussion that I had with Paul Piak, as he informed me that the executive director of the road and highway retired. Was that correct, Paul? Retired?
Yes.
So we didn't need any payroll. And from what we understand as well, there will be a vote coming up early next year if it will move into the township or stay separate. Regardless, we thought we could just get ahead of it, remove the payroll. If indeed the township changes and keeps that and hires new employees, we can always add that payroll back. But there's no reason to pay the carrier $8,000 in advance of that until we know that. There's automatic coverage regardless. So let's take it on the front end and see what we come up with. Are there any questions with regards to the workers' compensation so far? So with that, the premium is basically cut in half on the workers' comp from $14,674 to $7,840. And the street and maintenance class code is one of a municipality's most expensive class codes. So that has saved the township significant money. That is a 46.57% reduction in premium just for the workers' compensation. I do want to forewarn you with regards to next year's renewal that the township currently does have a large claim on its books with a total value of $90,623. I shared some specific information on that with Mr. Piak, and just to forewarn you in advance that your loss ratio will increase, has increased to 109% because of that loss. Prior to that loss, your loss ratio was 2%. So what does that mean at 109%? For every dollar you pay in premium, the carrier's paying $1.09. While it might not seem like a lot, $1.09, for a small workers' compensation program like the Township, it does sting a little bit more due to the large loss. You know, last year you paid $14,674 in premium, and your claim is $90,000. So that loss will hit our books next year in the modification calculation, and will stay on for 3 years. The good news is that we did reduce that street maintenance class code to help reduce that overall premium. So it shouldn't be too catastrophic. We will watch it. We will market the account to make sure that we have the most comprehensive and cost-effective program for the Township. Overall, this is probably some of the rare good news that I get to present this time of year with these market conditions. I'm pleased to advise you the Township is premiums are going to reduce from $62,163 to $46,620, or 25%. There is an opportunity next year if the Township decides to remove the 3 street and maintenance vehicles off your fleet. So if you guys do that, probably a couple more $1,000 off your premium. And pending any questions, that concludes my presentation.
All right, any questions for Mike? Okay, and then just have one question. We'll, for some reason, if this doesn't get approved tonight, any issues with premiums, if it carries over to the next month's meeting, Mike? Does that change?
The meeting will be after the election.
No, it would be end of October.
I mean, but Mr. Supervisor, it's really hard to say right now.
Okay.
I hope not. Let's just say that we've seen immediate changes from the Minneapolis issues. God forbid something happens in between now and before the election. That could change pricing.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it's terrible.
Okay. Thanks, Michael.
It is my recommendation to lock this in, get it done. I mean, your premium is not going to be due until December 1st.
Right, sure.
But for us to lock it in, that would be my recommendation. And then, there is going to be a scramble closer to the end of October to get things done, and we want to just make sure we're all buttoned up and done well in advance. We have never been in anything like this.
All right, thank you. Any
Okay.
final questions? Okay, thank you. Okay.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Michael.
And good evening. Thank you. Good evening.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, under presentations, the next item is a presentation from the Township auditors about the 2020 audit and the findings from that. So please, thank you.
Good evening. So I believe you all have copies of the audit reports, and I'll be pretty brief. These tend to be rather lengthy documents, but I always like to talk about our audit opinion on page 1. And here we state that we conducted our audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards, and that it is our opinion that these financial statements are presented fairly in conformity with the cash basis of accounting. You guys don't do the accruals and all that, but that is a highly accepted form of reporting your finances for local townships and other local governments. So that's a clean audit opinion. You do include the entity-wide and the fund financial statements. I'll just talk about the fund financial statements. That's where you live. That's the way you budget. That's the way you operate. That's the way you collect your money and that sort of thing. If you just flip to page 7, that's a snapshot of the results of operations for the year ended March 31st, 2020. And we see here the revenues that came in, the general town fund, general assistance, and road and bridge funds. You'll also see about 3/4 of the way down that page, the $400,000 that came in related to the loan for the construction work. And you ended the year in the general town fund of about $3.6 million positive. General assistance, just about $1.5 million. And the road and bridge had a deficit that you planned on of about $350,000. And your future tax levies and reduced expenditures are anticipated to, as I understand, to bring that back positive in the next few years. So, in good shape there. The other fund that you operate is the sewer fund. You can see the results of operations there on page 10. That fund maintains its own. You know, assess the fees necessary to cover the costs there. One other thing of note, new this year, as well as the bank loan, we had the interfund loan between the road and bridge fund and the general town fund, and that was just short of $1.1 million as you had made some payments during the year. Those are the highlights on the finances. One other item of note, you know, we hear such negative news all the time about unfunded pensions. Well, your IMRF actually has a net pension asset at the end of December of 2019. And we've seen some fluctuations in that asset or liability over the years as primarily driven by changes in investments, in the market values of the investments. I know in 18 it was way down. You had a liability there. 19 it rebounded. So you're in good shape there with just about a $300,000 net pension asset. You can see that on page 21. After that, then, are the rest of the notes and financials. And there's a lot of information related to the pension information. But beginning on page 30, then, are the individual fund budgetary to actual comparisons. And you can see how you did there on a line-by-line basis compared to your budget. And you did amend your budget during the year, so both the original budget and final budgets are shown there. And really, there's no surprises here. Operationally, we issued our required communication letter with management letter, and again, this year we didn't have any management letter comments. So the township, Erica and Paul and the staff continue to do an excellent job there. You have the controls in place that we like to see. You're well organized. It's convenient for our auditors. We have no misunderstanding with management or anything. Everything runs very smoothly on this audit. So I think they're doing a great job. That was really about all I had prepared to say. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions from the board? No?
No.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pretty painless. I'll just ask the questions because I know, now that I thought about it. So these will be, have they already been filed with all the agencies? I know you were getting emails verified,
Chuck, you pushed send the other day, didn't you? Yeah.
so they've all been uploaded, okay.
to the State
State and the
Comptroller's
county,
Office?
yep.
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Appreciate it.
welcome. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. All right. Have a good evening.
Thanks, guys.
All right, in our last presentation, appreciate Michael Balin was able to get in time for this meeting, is on the health insurance update for 2021. So come on up, Michael Balin, and give us a rundown. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Good evening, Supervisor Sweeney, trustees. For people on the call, my name is Michael Balin. I'm with Alliant Insurance Services, and I'm here tonight to talk to you guys about the township's upcoming health insurance, dental insurance, and vision insurance renewals, which renew December 1. So before the meeting started today, there was some rumblings that this was one of the more exciting board meetings of the year. I'm not sure if that was meant as a compliment, but I'm going to take it as one. So to start, every trustee should have a little turquoise folder, and I've included the materials that I'll be talking about this evening in that folder. So what we're going to talk about today are some COVID-19 updates, how COVID-19 affects the township, the employees, some more overall aggregate observations about COVID-19 and how it's affected the insurance market. We'll get into the Blue Cross policy renewing in December, dental insurance, vision insurance, and then towards the end, we'll have a Q&A session in case any questions pop up. So first thing I want to talk about were some of those coronavirus and COVID-19 updates, and most specifically about some of the things that Blue Cross is doing to assist its members and the township employees to get through this tough time. So number one, testing. So COVID testing is actually covered at 100%. There's no cost share for the individual, and that will last until the end of the public health emergency. So that hasn't ended yet. So testing for COVID under the supervision of a licensed healthcare professional is covered at 100%. No deductible, no copay. Testing-related visits and treatment of COVID-19, that's also covered at no cost share. Now, the treatment part of it, the cost share waiver was extended through October 23rd of 2020. That date has changed a couple of times and could get extended. But from an employee's perspective, to get tested for COVID, in the unfortunate event that you need treatment for COVID, that's covered at 100% by the carrier. And then telehealth and telemedicine, the cost share was waived through the end of this year. So that's just an additional benefit for people working from home. Maybe access to a doctor or to a hospital isn't what it used to be for certain individuals. So telehealth and telemedicine is covered at no cost share through the end of the year. From a more global perspective on COVID, and this might sound a little ironic, from an insurance carrier's perspective, COVID-19 has actually been positive. So with people working from home, under lockdowns, carriers, Blue Cross, United, kind of universally, they are seeing less healthcare expenses incurred. Now, costs associated with COVID have gone up. Inpatient, those kinds of things have gone up. But globally, claims have gone down. Now, what I'd like to see eventually, to see premiums go down, but that hasn't quite happened yet. Now, my colleague, Mike Elisha, he talked about medical loss ratio as it pertains to property and casualty. That metric also applies to health insurance. So in Mike's example, 1.9, so for every dollar in premium, $1.9 or $1.90 is paid out in claims. Carriers look at employers the same way. So any number over $1 means that the carrier is paying out more claims than dollars that they're bringing in, and any number under $1 means that they're bringing in, they're paying out less claims than premium dollars they're bringing. And at this trajectory, if claim dollars continue to go down, prices will need to go down because medical loss ratio needs to be at either 80% or better. Now, as pertains to the township specifically, the medical insurance is getting a 10.28% increase beginning December 1. We did get a quote from United Healthcare. They came in at a 9.89% increase, so a very, very similar offer to the renewal that Blue Cross has. I also wanted to get a quote from United Healthcare All Savers, which is a level-funded product. It's a little bit different than the current program with Blue Cross. They unfortunately declined to quote as they don't write municipalities or public entity business. On the first page of the agenda, you'll also see a brief history as to where the increases and decreases have been for the township since December 1 of 2015. So I won't read through all of them. I'll just kind of go through a couple. So in 2015, it was a 2.69% increase, and the township also added a third plan option for employees to choose from. There was a decrease of 6.11% on December 1 of 2018. And actually, one thing I forgot to mention, so these numbers are net of any changes that are done at renewal. So adding a plan, deleting a plan, making those kinds of changes, these percentages are net of those decisions. And then finally, beginning December 1 of 2020, it's a 10.28% increase with Blue Cross. The dental renewal, the dental actually renews January 1 of 2021. We do not have renewal numbers yet for the dental insurance. We will have those shortly, and once we do, we'll share them with the township. And then vision. Vision was a new program a couple of years ago. It was originally under a 2-year rate guarantee to renew 12/1 of 20. That rate guarantee has actually been extended 2 more years. So rates on the vision, those won't go up until December 1 of 2022. Now I'll cover the kind of the financials pretty briefly here. But the township has 3 medical plans that employees can choose from. One is an HMO, which was a new program that we talked about last year. One individual decided to join the HMO. And then Plan 2 and Plan 3 are high deductible plans or HSA plans. And both of those plans include a contribution from the township to employee HSA bank accounts. So each plan kind of goes up or down at a different amount. But in aggregate, it's a 10.28% increase. Now, these are not the only 3 plans that Blue Cross offers. They have 45, 50 plans. To bring that 10.28% number down, it would require a bit of a sacrifice in terms of how rich the plans are, the networks involved. I did not put any of those plan options together. I wanted to kind of gauge your interest first about adding a plan with a smaller network or increasing deductibles or out-of-pockets or that kind of thing. So I'm not saying it's a 10.28% increase and that's the only option you have. But to bring that number down, it would require a bit of a sacrifice in terms of plan design and how rich the benefits are. As in previous years, you do have the option of either being age-rated billed or composite billed. Based on the contribution splits, how much the township picks up and how much the employees pick up. A shift to a composite renewal would be pretty disruptive. Some people's rates would go up, some people's rates would go down. The effect would frankly be all over the place. And then the next page here outlines the United Healthcare offer. This is not the first time we've talked about United Healthcare as a potential replacement for Blue Cross. Unfortunately, their quotes and their offer hasn't been as competitive as I would like, or maybe competitive enough to really, really consider. but their offer came in at a 9.89% increase above current cost. Next page here with the Elk Grove logo on it. This is a quick refresher on HSA contribution amounts and the employee-employer split for premiums. So on the HMO, there are no employer contributions to HSA bank accounts. You have to be on a high deductible health plan to receive an HSA contribution. For Plan 2, the first HSA plan, the township contributes $1,800 per year for an individual, $4,100 for family. And on the second HSA plan, it's an employer contribution of $2,300 and a family contribution of $4,600. And then for premium splits, for employees only covering themselves, the township picks up 95% of the premium for employee-only coverage. Employees responsible for 5%. And then the additional cost to add dependents is a 50-50 split. So covering a spouse and/or children, the employee picks up half of that cost and the township picks up half of that cost. The last page here is really a financial snapshot of monthly premium dollars and annual premium dollars. So looking at the above, or the first rectangle, the one towards the top of the sheet, billed monthly premium. So this assumes your current census. So this could vary depending on what enrollment looks like. But billed monthly, or billed annual premium is $195,000, of which the township picks up $158,000. This is current. And employees pick up approximately $36,000. That final column on the right, I also wanted to show you what the HSA contribution dollar amounts look like. So I represented them monthly per individual, but in total, currently the township pays about $51,700 annually in HSA contributions for the staff. The rectangle below assumes that HSA contributions stay the same and that the employer-employee split of premium also stays the same. So under that assumption, billed monthly premium goes up to $215,000 a year, approximately. The township picks up $174,000 of it, and employees pick up about $40,000 of it. So in the total cost increase to the township, accepting the renewal, keeping the contribution splits the same, the township's cost would go from $158,000 approximately per year to $174,000 a year. I know I just covered a lot of information relatively quickly, but does anybody have any questions for me?
Any questions for Michael? Okay. Anything else?
No, just a last quick reminder. So I'm glad that we're talking now in the September meeting. But just a quick reminder about timeline and when decisions need to be made for the carriers. So November 2nd, end of business day on November 2nd. That's the deadline to tell Blue Cross, these are the plans that we want, et cetera.
Okay.
So I'm happy to come back and talk to everybody again. So thank you for the time.
Thank you so much. Okay. Moving on to item H, reports from elected officials. First up, the assessor, Connie.
Well, you have my written report. Since that was filed, I attended a Cook County Township Assessors meeting, which was obviously by Zoom, but very well attended. A lot of grievances were noted. with the extended times that townships have been opened by the Cook County assessor, some of which have been open for assessor appeal for over 90 days, which is just totally unacceptable. Also brought up were any number of errors that have occurred. I also let them know that I received a phone call from the Chief Financial Officer of District 59, who was terribly concerned about getting final numbers so he could do his levy. And our numbers are not solid yet. They have not closed us yet. So I'm afraid that all we could do is commiserate over the disaster that is going on in the assessor's office. Excuse me. I also had an opportunity Saturday to talk with the director of the Illinois Department of Revenue and let him know that we saw a lot of problems with the CCAO. One of the things that we noted is for the last 5 years prior to this administration, only 5,000 certificates of correction were ever filed by the Cook County assessor. Since Assessor Kagi has come into office, just in his term, 55,000 certificates of correction have been issued. So what we're seeing is manipulation of assessed values. The other thing that I was told about, and I have not confirmed this, is that there are rumblings of litigation that is coming from the commercial and industrial base, because the numbers that they're seeing are just not something that they can live with. So we've got a lot of very unhappy campers. Also, Board of Review Commissioner Dan Patlack made an excellent presentation, and as soon as the county closes us and certifies us, we'll get on the schedule for being open for appeals to the Board of Review. Also, attending the meeting was our new liaison from Treasurer Pappas's office, Demetrius Dallas. This is something that Assessor El Safar and I worked on a couple of months ago that will streamline our ability to assist our taxpayers with the Treasurer's office. And that is my report.
Thank you, Connie. Any questions for Connie? Okay, clerk's report, George.
I've submitted a written report regarding the FOIAs we've received, and I think that's that's fine for now. If anyone does want to participate in the Township Officials of Illinois conference, obviously it's virtual this year, and if any of the elected officials wish to participate, please inform Administrator Piak.
Any questions for George? Okay, thanks, George. Highway Commissioner Art.
You've got my written report, and at this time, I do not have anything else to add to that. If there's any questions?
Any questions for Art? Okay. Supervisor's report, I have nothing to add, and we'll move on. Item I, correspondence, there was none. Old business, the resolution that places the general election referendum question on the ballot for November 3rd regarding the elimination of the Highway Department. Essentially what we're doing so that it's, I don't know, attorneys call it, what do they call it? Belting and suspendering, what is it? Yeah, anyway. Belt and suspenders. Just for clarification, just to make sure that there were no questions that come up from a legal perspective, we're simply removing the RD from the resolution number so that it's clear that it's coming from the Township Board. So that's all we're doing here. Simply just a recommendation from our attorney to do that. So any questions about that? All right. Can I have a motion to amend Resolution 2020-05RD and replace it with the resolution number 2020-05?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Nuredowski. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving to item K, new business. First, under new business, is the 2021 property and casualty and workers' compensation insurance. I had an opportunity to hear from Michael Hsa. Was, overall, I said it was pretty positive report. We'll see what happens next year with that claim on the books, but for right now, seems to be a pretty positive quote and a move, at least temporarily, in a good direction. So any other discussion on this quote, this proposal? Okay. Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the 2021 property and casualty workers' compensation insurance proposal from Alliant Insurance Services?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Ingraffia. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Aye.
trustee Nuredowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenly,
Aye.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, again, you heard of the audit, and you received the audit report. Any questions or any additional discussion about the audit report? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the fiscal year ending 2020 audit report?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Ingraffia. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Nuredowski. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Aye.
trustee Nuredowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenly,
Aye.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 3, under new business, is the proposed bid packet for snow removal services for the 2020-2021 season on behalf of the Elk Grove Township Road District. Just want to put this out. Either way, regardless of what happens November 3rd with the referendum, this is going to be necessary to ensure that the roads are maintained for when it comes to snow removal, and that our roads are handled, are prioritized, no matter who is handling snow removal. So we wanted to make sure we got this invitation to bid out as early as possible. The hope is that we can review any proposals that come in, any bids that come in the end of October and early November, and have a contractor in place for the winter season. So any questions about the bid packet?
I just had 2 questions. Well, one, I noticed in there, it did say we're asking for priority for our areas,
Correct.
which I know was something we talked about, so that was good. But this map, this is not unincorporated area. Martha and Lincoln ends up here. So I wasn't sure what this part was drawn down here.
So some of the areas that are highlighted are areas that we maintain for municipalities through intergovernmental agreements.
Yeah, but this is where I live, actually, because it's Talbot's Mill and Arbor Club, and that where this part is below here, and that is done by Elk Grove Village. So I just wanted to make sure when we do the bid that that's correct.
That's just a general map.
Okay, just making sure, because
Yeah.
down at Devon, this is not unincorporated.
That's,
Okay,
The potential bidders have an idea exactly where the areas are, since they're spread out so
Okay.
far.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions about the bid packet? Okay. All right, hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the bid packet and have it publicized immediately?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Keenly, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Nuredowski. Any discussion?
Just a question, when are the bids due?
The bids are due Monday, October 26th,
Okay, is
by
that
4 PM.
okay.
That is the date of our next board meeting,
October what, I'm sorry.
October 24th, or 26th, 2020. And so we anticipate to go through the same process. We'll do a review to assure that any bidders are qualified and all the insurance issues are addressed. And then that will be presented, after that's reviewed by what I presume to be Jason, the attorney, Art, and possibly Mark Toll, and anybody else that we need to bring in. Those bids will be reviewed and a report will be presented to the board. Okay. We have a motion to approve on the floor. It has been seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Saturn,
Aye.
trustee Nuredowski,
Aye.
trustee Ingraffia,
Aye.
trustee Keenly,
Aye.
Supervisor Sweeney.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. We will publicize that bid notice, and we will see what happens when we open bids on October 26th. Thank you. Last item, executive session matters. There are none. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by trustee Saturn,
Second it.
seconded by trustee Nuredowski. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.